Hello everyone, it's Rachel at From Moments to Milestones, and I'm here today with our newest paper pad card kit. This is featuring the MINTAY Autumn Splendor 6x8 paper pad. It's a gorgeous paper pad. And we are going to create these 7 cards. We have Fall into Autumn, Fall Blessings, Sending Love, Just Because, Autumn Birthday Wishes, Heartfelt, Sympathy, and Many Thanks. So we're going to create those 7 cards. If you purchase a kit, you're going to get this cover sheet with, or you're going to get the instructions, and there's a picture of each card with instructions on how to put the card together if you don't wish to follow along here. And then in the back I put a list of all the items I used to create the kits. So we will jump right in with our first card, and this one is called Fall into Autumn. When you do get your kit, you'll have each card kit individually wrapped, and then you're going to have a small bag of these sentiments. So I put all the sentiments together, so if you want to mix and match, or maybe you don't want this one particular card to say one thing, and you'll have a couple extras. So I gave you that option today. This particular card does not use one of those sentiments, but I just wanted to let you know that's where you would find them. So we'll go ahead and start with this one. And one of the first things we're going to do is I'm going to get out a paper piercer, and we need to pop out all the chads on this die cut. So it should have die cut well, I didn't take the time to poke it all out. Alright, so I got everything to poke out, but this bottom piece down here is giving me a little trouble. So you can either wiggle it, but if you're afraid to tear it, I'm just going to flip it over. Maybe it didn't cut all the way through, and I'm going to take my craft knife right over the back of where those lines are, and that seemed to be enough to let it loose. So I just wanted to share that tip with you. I'm going to throw away all those scraps, and we're going to do some inking. So we've got all these little bits here, and I believe I put on the instructions that I use tea dye ink, which I did do for the pumpkin, but I think for everything else I use gathered twigs or frayed burlap. I'm not sure. So a brown ink of your choice. You can skip the tea dye. I think I used tea dye and brown on the pumpkin. I think I may just opt for brown today. I do have tea dye here, but I think I'm just gonna I have gathered twigs, and this is very inky, so I'm going to kind of be light-handed with it. Alright, and I'm just going to get all the leaves. You can do these dark brown stems, probably won't show up much. I've got the acorn bottom, and then the top, which I'm going to go a little heavier on the bottom there. And just get the edges. This one also has some parts not poked out. Get those. So I think on the stem, I'm just going to do this one side. And then I'm going to lightly do sentiment, and I'm going to do these 2 papers. I'm going to skip the vellum and the gold. My thumb is all stained up from all the ink. That's good. I'm just going to take a cloth. Oh, actually, I forgot these little berries here. So I'm going to leave that up to you if you want to ink them. I'm just going to try to ink them on the I'm just going to lightly touch them, nothing crazy, just like that. But I am going to clean up my surface here so I don't get brown ink places I don't want it. So just in case. And I'm going to spray my fingers too. All right. So let's put our card together. So we'll start with that white card base, and we're going to put down the brown cardstock. Make sure it's open in the right way. All right, and then we're going to put down the blue. This back side is really pretty too, if you wanted to opt for that. That would be, I wonder how well that would show up, just out of curiosity. That would be gorgeous too, if you wanted to give that a go. But I'll stick with what we did, since I've already inked it. Put down the blue, centered. And then we're going to glue this gold, I forgot a couple. We're going to glue the gold window to the vellum. So I'm just going to put some glue mainly around the outside. I'll get some of the inside portions as well. To center that on there. And then I am going to get out a large clear block to hold that down while it dries. And then while I'm waiting, I'll scoot it out of the way. While I'm waiting, I'm going to put those berries on that stem. So you have this stem here and those little peach berries. So I'm going to put glue on each little dot there. Get a tool to pick up. Whoops. Let me make sure I'm on camera here. Okay. And then it kind of has like a little dip on the top. That's the top of the berry, and a little bit of the brown will poke out from that. So that's the way you want to put those on. Okay, we've got the berries assembled, and then I want to find, let me get my tweezers, it's easier to pick up that way. So I want to find this pumpkin stem. And there are embossed lines on the pumpkin, so they kind of all meet right in here, and that is right where your stem is going to go. So I don't know if you can see those lines or not. Let's see how close I can get. So it matches up right in there like so. And then finally, we're going to put the top of our acorn on. Just like so. All right, so I think this should be dried. Very good. There's a few spots that didn't glue down that maybe I'll get after I put it together, so I can put that back on there. Okay, so let's go ahead. We're going to put glue now, and we're going to hide it. So we're going to put it behind where the gold is. Best we can. I'm getting a little messy, but that's okay. And then we're going to place it in the center of our card. good. And now we're going to arrange our elements. We've got our pumpkin. This is going to go at the bottom. We're going to put that on last. So we've got this here. And another large leaf. And then this guy's over here. So if I put that in there. Yep. And then these two I did pop up. So I'm going to put those on last. And then our little spray goes in there. So I kind of like right where that is, so I don't want to move it. I'm just going to put some glue on the back and let it land there. That shiny paper it doesn't want to stick to. Alright. And now our pumpkin. You could certainly pop up the pumpkin too if you wanted. I'm just going to stick it there, and then I'm going to slide this behind there. Okay. Nothing wants to stick today. What is going on? All right. And so now I'm going to go ahead and put that on. So I got a little piece of a foam strip here. And I'm going to cut it in half. And I'll use both since it's thick. Alright, I'm going to use my tweezers for placement. I'll hold off on that. And I'm just going to center it on the bottom of the card like so. Let me go up slightly. It's not centered. That looks better. And then this little guy came in here. And then these, I'm going to put foam on the back. So let's see. Got kind of like this. I don't know if you can see that anymore. I kind of moved it. So I've got one there, and I might put it over and the little acorn behind. And then our little berries, or whatever they are, I don't even know if they're buds or berries. Those are going to poke out from there. And then we have these two little smaller leaves. So we're just going to tuck those in, kind of creating a visual triangle with that color. And you know what? I don't think I inked this one. It doesn't look like I did. So do that. Put some glue on it. And this one's going to come down here. And that one needs glue. Right there. I think those finally stuck down, so we are good to go. And our first card is finished. Our next card is Fall Blessings. And mine might look a little different than yours. So in our paper pad, this scene here came from the cover sheet. So with MINTAY, their cover sheet has kind of a bonus paper on the back, and that's where we got that. But this came, it's blue stripes on one side, and I think it's going to be just as beautiful as a background for our sweet little deer. Okay, so we are going to start by fussy cutting that deer. So I did leave a white border, a thin white border. So So I've got my sweet little deer die cut, so let's put the rest of the card together. So we're going to start. You have this white embossed panel, and we are going to stick that on to our white card base. And put a little extra adhesive because it's textured. So if you're unsure, you want to put the bumpy side up. It's not really, won't make a huge difference either way, but that's the way I'm going to put mine. Plus it'll make it adhere easier with that flat side down. And now we're going to take our oval, put one behind the other. So I'm just going to put some, make sure I've got the right side. This is the back. Okay. So I'm going to put wet glue around my frame. And then I'm going to, it should line right up. And if you have any sticking out, you can always trim it off, but I think it should line up just right. All right, that looks good. And I'm going to put foam on the back of this. I have some big squares here. I think I'm going to use those up. All right, I've removed the backing and I put a little bit of wet glue on there. It'll give me some wiggle room. And I'm going to center that onto that white card base. All right, so we've got that. And then we have our fall blessings cut out, and I'm going to need to get all those little chads out of there. All right, so there's the word blessings. And then the word fall. So yours is going to go over the leaves on your trees. Mine's just going to go up here at the top. It's going to space them out and then I'll get them glued down. So I'm going to start with blessings. All right, there's the word blessings, and now I may put down to hold it, and let's put glue on the fall part. All right, so we have fall blessings on there, and so now we need to put our deer, and I'm gonna get into my little bag of sentiments here, and I need the from me to you. I am going to pop up the from me to you. It's up to you. That's a double layer of foam. If you want to mail that, maybe you don't want to do that. Foam on there, and then I'm also going to pop up my deer. All right, I have the backing removed on that deer. I'm going to kind of use this as a guide. It's going to go across the bottom. I kind of have mine tilted. You can have it go straight however you want. His little feet will go in behind there just like so. And I'll pull this backing piece off. And that will kind of help secure his little feet in there too. Very nice. And so that card is finished. You certainly add some glitter or something more to it, but it's so sweet. And it's equally as pretty on that other background. So that card is finished. So our next card is Sending Love with these sweet little puppies on there. They're just so cute. So we're going to go ahead and ink up the edges of just the two papers. I didn't do the sentiment. There's no need to do the dogs either because they're going to get tucked in that frame. So just these two. I left the sentiment white and the card base white, but you could certainly, if you wanted to make everything inked, you could do the card base edges and the sentiment. I kind of like the pop of bright white with the background of the dogs, kind of pulls it all together. All right, I have those two panels inked, and I am going to glue down the burlap. So right in the center of your white card base. All right, and so now I am going to flip over this orange houndstooth paper as well as the gold frame. And I'm going to tuck that frame, fits right inside of that. So you can do two things here. You can use some tape. So you can just go in with some clear tape, washi tape, tape it in place. You could also use your foam to glue it together because we're going to pop it up anyway. So you could put foam over the seams all the way around. I'm going to use a combination of both, I think. And so now we can pop up that gold frame and set the puppies inside. Okay. So I am going to quickly use, I'm going to get a piece of Post-it tape. So let me grab some of that. And I'm going to stick my puppies inside. I kind of wish I wouldn't put that foam on just yet. So if you used foam, this might not work as well. It would still work, just not as well. I'm going to match that up and stick it there for a moment. And then what I'm going to do is flip it over and just put adhesive on the back of that little arch with the puppies on it. And then I'm going to put it right where I want. I'm going to center it on there and glue my puppies down. And now they're right where I want them, and I can continue to put foam on the back of this panel. And I have foam on the back, all the backing removed, and now I'm just going to line that back up where those little sweet puppies are centered and glue down that panel. And so now my gold is popped up as well as the houndstooth. And then we're going to finish, if I can find my little bag of sentiments. This one has Sending Love. I think you're also left with Hello Sunshine. That one might be cute on there. And there's also a Best Day Ever, I think, maybe the other one we didn't use. But I'm going to go with the Sending Love. And I did pop that up as well. Is just going to go across the bottom like so, and that one is finished. Our next card is Just Because. This sweet images in this collection. This little girl is just so sweet. She reminds me of my little sister, so I may have been drawn to it. But I am going to start. You have 2 strips of gold, and we're going to put one on either side. This is just a way to make your paper last, especially a specialty paper like this gold, where you don't want to, you're losing all of that if you put it behind. So I'm going to put one on each side of my card base. And now you have the sweater paper, which is going to go, I'm actually going to put it this way. I don't really think there's a right or wrong, but whatever looks good to you. I'm going to stick that down. And it's just going to go centered from left to right, and it should line up with the top and bottom edges of your card like so. And then like how I can see that is a strip there, I'll just put that. So if you have that problem at all, you can just slide that in your trimmer and trim it off. No one will be the wiser. There we go. Now it looks like it's a continuous piece. Okay. And so you have the little girl, the gold, and the vellum circle, and those are just going to layer one on top of the other. So I'll put the image on the gold on the vellum, and I'm going to center it, pull it over here so I can see it's centered. And then I'm going to flip this over, and I'm going to put foam on the back, and I'm going to hide it behind that gold. All right, and then that piece is going to go centered left to right and about an inch or so, maybe a little less from the top. So not centered, not completely centered. And then we're going to find our sentiment. So I used Just Because, and it's going to go over where it's popped up. I'm just going to put 2 foam squares on the ends of this banner, and then a little bit of glue there, so we'll stick where I want it to go. And we're just going to center it across the bottom of that image, just like so. And it'll pop up there and there. Perfect. And that's it for that card. I did add, I don't have it at my desk, so I think I'm going to skip it for this particular card, but I'll bring it up close. I don't know if the light is shining, but I put glitter in different areas around the greenery, or the leaves and stuff around her, just to add a little something. Our next card is Autumn Birthday Wishes. This card will also go quick. Sometimes you just have a paper collection where the papers are so pretty that you don't need to do a lot with them, and just let the paper take center stage. So for this one, you're going to have 3 strips, all equal strips, and they're kind of a puzzle, so you're going to need to put them back together. There they go. So they were cut apart, they were together, and they were cut apart. And so what we're going to do is I'm going to put foam on the back of them once I found their order, and then we're going to space them out onto that ginger cardstock. Okay, I have the foam on all of my strips. So I'm going to start with this outside one. I'm going to peel off the backings. And then I'm going to just start on the left side. And I want to make sure that I have an even border on the top, the bottom, and the sides. And if I start out that way, that looks great. It's on there straight. Then everything else will fall into place. So that next one, I'll just repeat that border, or you could go to the outside one, put that one on, and then put the center in between. It's totally up to you, whatever you're comfortable with. I think I might do that. So let's do that same thing over here. And then we'll tear off the backing for our middle strip. piece will just go in the center, lined up. Awesome. So we have that right where we want it, and then I am going to glue that to the card base. So you could have done that first. All right, and then we have the word autumn. So I am going to put glue on that. Okay. And it's kind of in the lower third, right hand side of the card. Just straight across. I'll put a block over that to hold it, and then I'm going to dig out my birthday wishes sentiment. And I did not pop this up since this is popped. I didn't want a second layer, so I'm just going to put some wet glue or tape runner, whatever you want, in there. And it's kind of nice. It kind of goes right with the flow of that word autumn. I'm just going to line it up, stick it on. And that card is finished. Okay, our next card is Heartfelt, Sympathy. And we're going to start this one off with some fussy cutting. So you have these, you have a floral spray and a little bunch of leaves. So we're just going to go in, and we're not going to be super particular. Some of this stuff that's real small, like you can either cut it off, or nobody's going to know what was there, what wasn't there. You can be as particular or in particular. If you hate fussy cutting, I apologize. But these images are they're on the back of a sheet of paper. You'll have several pages of them in your paper pad, so it's kind of hard not to use them. They're so pretty. Yeah, I find it best, which I'm sure you've heard before. I'm like, did I leave that on there? No. Oh yeah, I did. To move the paper with your hand rather than moving your scissors. Find that the easiest way to go. And like that leaf that's all by itself, I am snipping that off. Alrighty, I have my two images fussy cut, and I'm going to do a little inking. So I'm going to just do the wood and the burlap. I didn't do the fussy cut image or the Heartfelt Sympathy where it's stamped. You're not really going to see it because it's going to go behind the thing. So, I mean, you could add ink to it if you wanted. I don't think it's going to show up, but I'll add some. I think I did on that one, but I'm not sure that I was a fan of it. But we're going to do it anyway. And see, it kind of adds to the... Yeah, you're really not going to see it unless you go real heavy-handed. But that's okay. Alright, so let's put our card together. Let's go ahead and glue this on. So we need foam. We're going to put foam. Actually, before I do that, I can see there's some areas. There's like 4 of them. Little, round, pieces that need punched out. You can leave them in if you want, and it's just part of the pattern, but I'm going to punch them out before I put on my foam. I still forgot one right there. Okay, so I'm going to peel off the backing. And I'm going to put that. Now the Heartfelt Sympathy is kind of slightly up because of the orientation of this floral spray, so it's not completely centered. I'll lay it on there, make sure it looks straight. Alright, so that's on. And then I'm just going to set that off to the side till we're ready. Let's go ahead and put down our burlap paper. And that goes down on the white card base. And then this wood piece, it's going to go here. Just have an even border on the left side with the top and bottom. And now, I think I'll use wet glue so I don't smash that. And that is going to go about an inch down from the bottom. And it's slightly sitting this way. You can center it, but I don't think your floral spray will fit. So you're going to have to slide it over about 1/4 of an inch here and about an inch up top. Make sure it's straight. Okay. And now our little floral spray is going to sit like so. And where that right there is hanging off, I'm just going to cut a little bit more of that off and nobody's going to know. Okay. So what we need is I'm going to put some glue on the corners. And then there's a few spots where I'm going to need some foam squares. One there. One hanging off over here. We'll start there. All right, and then I think I'll go in and tuck. Peel off the backing. Oops, sometimes that works. Peel off the backing, and then I'm going to pick it up with my tweezers and just go in behind and tuck where needed. And that'll help keep that image popped up and not falling down. So I need one right there. And one back in there, maybe a half a one, which I have right here. I cut one more up. All right, and then, oh, I forgot, I have this other piece here that gets tucked back in there. I almost forgot about that. I hope I got room to tuck it. I do. You could almost go without it. Let's see if I like it down here better. Not really. All right, put a little adhesive on the back. Tuck that in like so. And now I'm going to need to tuck some more foam. There's one, and I'll do this other half one that I've got here. Okay, now that card is finished. We have one final card to make. This one is also a simple card, but we have some fussy cutting to do, so we need to cut out both of these pumpkin images. I did leave a little white border. Okay, I have my pumpkins cut out, so let's put this card together. This is going to go quick. So our card's going to open like this. I'm going to put this piece down first because the blue is going to slightly overlap it. So we'll start with that. And this one is going to have a very thin border, like a 1/16 of an inch. So you want to make sure it's even on the top and the sides. On the sweater paper. And you're just going to line that up, the edges. Give it a similar border. That looks great. And then you have this thin piece of gold that kind of butts up next to the sweater paper, and it's going to sit like that. So I'm going to take my wet glue and just run a bead of glue or a line of glue, just like so. And then I'm going to put that right on top. Kind of pull it down so it's lined up. Okay, and then we're going to need our, I used Many Thanks. I think that's what you have. Many Thanks, Best Day Ever, Hello Sunshine left. Okay, and then we've got this pumpkin, this one, and Many Thanks. So this pumpkin is going to get popped up. So I'm going to go ahead and put foam on the back. And the Many Thanks is also going to be popped up, and I'm not going to put some on the very end because it's probably going to tuck in behind my pumpkin, which I just created. I kind of remember that now. Let me take those off for a second and come back. So let's get our placement, and we'll tuck in that Many Thanks, and we'll go ahead and put it on everything in the Many Things, but only on the left side of our pumpkin. That'll help. So he's going to sit right in here, and then the pumpkin is going to kind of cover up that little pumpkin there. And then pull off the backing from the sentiment strip. And I'm going to tuck one of the banner edges. You could put it in front too if you liked that, which I kind of do. I actually think I'm going to do it that way. So this guy's going to come off of there and go behind the pumpkin. And I'm going to put a little blue on the edge. So now you can see both versions and decide for yourself what you like best. And that's just going to go there. I kind of like being able to see the whole banner. And that card is finished. Well, that does it for this card class. These were some fun cards to make, maybe get you in the mood for fall and cooler temperatures. I think I'm ready for that after this heat wave. If you have any questions, or you can certainly leave them below, and we do our best to keep up with comments. If you're interested in a kit, you can check us out on our website at www.frommomentstomilesjones.com, and you can search for card kits there. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you again next time.